MK party confirming now that its former convener in Mpumalanga, Mary Phadi, that her membership has been terminated. Party spokesperson Nhlamulo Ndhlela joins us via video link. Nhlamulo, good morning. Thanks for your time. Just talk to us about, so the statement from the party making the announcement about her expulsion was dated yesterday. We understand that news reached her today. Just talk to us about when she was actually informed that this decision had been taken.
Good morning, Iman, and good morning to your viewers. Yes, the decision was, the letter was sent through to her last week off the back of a national officials meeting that took place around the 19th of Feb. So in this case, she would have received that correspondence as at yesterday.
So she would have received it yesterday. So just talk to us about today. I mean, our understanding is that she was then given the letter or told on the red carpet of the State of the Province address in Mpumalanga. Just correct us if that's wrong information.
Well, I'm not going to speculate in terms of, whether she received it in that way or not. What we can confirm is that she has received the letter as was expected on our end.
All right. Received it yesterday or today?
She was sent the letter yesterday. She would have received it yesterday, and maybe even an actual physical copy today delivered. Now, whether it was at the legislature or at the office, that's a different story. But she's received the correspondence.
All right. And Nhlamulo, all of this relates to, and if I'm reading then just some of the detail from the actual announcement around her suspension, it details things like previous conduct, her decision to take the MK to court without exhausting internal remedies, and previously ignoring correspondence from the party to her. And this, from what we understand, relates to who the rightful leader in Mpumalanga is, whether it is her or whether it is Busisiwe Mkhwebane. So just talk to us again around the reasons for the party making this decision to suspend and cancel her membership.
Well, this is not without exhausted engagement and discussions prior to even the initial letter being sent to Mary Phadi, which then obviously led to her taking the party to court. That order was then obviously issued without our contestation. We still said that there was certain documentation that was supposed to be brought to us, which we never received, and that's what led to that court order. However, that being the case, that you must then understand that made her to continue to be a member of the party and to continue her role in the legislature as a party leader. Now, it doesn't mean just because now you have a court order that you can do as you please within the party. By virtue of you having been granted to stay on as a member of the party means you still need to work within the confinements of the constitution of the party. And one of those being this bar the one of taking us to court, but one of those being, participating in events that are said to be factional, that aren't endorsed by the party's leadership, and that seem to cause division and exacerbate ill discipline. And this is what was happening here. This also then undermines the decision that has been taken by the national officials that she, in this case, be replaced by convener Advocate Mkhwebane, who has been widely communicated as the convener of the province. And those are decisions we need to understand, decisions that are taken within the party. Yes, remember the initial letter was that she was going to be cancelled and then removed as party leader. She was not cancelled by virtue of that. She continued to be a member, but now she started working with outside of the ambits and outside the prescriptions of the Constitution, which in of themselves are transgressions that lead to cancellation of membership. And it's very clear in our Constitution.
All right, so just to understand, and I don't have the merits of the Mpumalanga High Court ruling which reinstated her. This was in December. This was December the 3rd, in which her suspension was deemed then to be unconstitutional. How do you see that ruling and that court order that she then secured against the decision that you're now taking? I mean, where does it leave the party in terms of the legal process? What legal advice have you got on that?
Well, naturally, she is a party leader. The court order still refers to her being a party leader. But remember, you become a party leader off the back of the ticket from the party. We're saying that as a member of the party, and as per the prescripts of the Constitution, she has flouted those. And after continuous discussions with her, she has flouted those. Will she stay on as a member of as a party leader? Of course, it's a court order, but let's not forget that that court order was issued without our representation. We were never given an opportunity as the party to even give any representations as to why we're going about the decision that we're taking initially that led to the court case. So, that process is still ongoing. We're still going to continue in court because remember, this is a person that has now got access to the bank accounts of the party still. And after continuous requests that she hand over the bank accounts and centralize them, like all the other provinces have done, she continues to be rogue and not take instructions from the party. So we cannot continue in that manner. We're a party that is stabilizing. We're building structures. We are focusing on building programs of action that are aimed at winning us the local elections. And the last thing we need is to be having comrades that are ill-disciplined and that are not going to be taking the interests of the people that voted for them and the party.
So just to be clear, you're saying you weren't respondents in that matter where she was challenging her suspension and where the court reinstated her. So in your mind, as a party, you're saying you're still going to pursue legal action. I'd like a little more detail on what that might actually be. But you do not believe that you are in contempt of court or breaking the law when it comes to that initial order, which endorsed her leadership or her position that she held in the MK party at that time?
No, the point that we're making is that it's not to say we're not respondents. We're saying that we didn't get the papers in advance for us to respond. That's why she was granted a court order in our absence. And this is in absence of us even making our submission. So that court order went unchallenged is effectively what I'm saying. That's the point I wanted to make, one. And that court order said the following, that she maintains her membership and she maintains her role as party leader within the legislature. Now, the issue of removing her from the legislature, that has to be off the back of a court order in effect pertaining to the speaker that would have to be submitted. That's a different process. But we're saying within the party, in terms of her membership and within, because even the same court order, let her maintain her role as a member of the party. So we're working within the prescripts of the same order that keeps her as a member of the party. And it doesn't mean that just because there's a court order that keeps you as a member of the party, that you can be a renegade and go and work outside of the disciplines of the Constitution.
It's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be an interesting one to watch in Nhlamulo because, as you say, you were given the chance to respond. For whatever reason, that response wasn't forthcoming. And also on two key issues that she retains both the leadership and a presence in the legislature. Are you not just delaying a repeat of the same developments from last year again now?
I think I'd be repeating myself for the third time if I said that we never received any papers from the court for us to even pursue a response.
Okay.
And that's the situation that led to an order being granted against us in our absence and in absence of any responses that would have come from our end or our part of the. So we never got to respond. She was issued an interim order, off the back of our absence, and that's that. So we've never had an opportunity to even challenge this. It came right after. How we found out about it was obviously after the order was granted for her to maintain her role as party leader.
Have you heard from her or her representatives? I mean, I know that this all happened, that this was officially communicated yesterday, but have you received any response from her or her representatives as to how she's going to manage things going forward?
Well, I guess it's still early days. As you would have highlighted, she received the physical and yesterday the digital correspondence. So, pending that, I guess they would have to, with their attorneys and their lawyers, look at the papers, the letter, and take it from there.
It's a moment, of course, which I imagine would leave some of your members puzzled, wondering what's going to happen next. So what is the party line in this moment to those who are wondering, well, what happens in the legislature? Who then is leading the MK party in Mpumalanga from the MK party's perspective?
Well, this is what's going to happen. There's a resolution that's been taken by the national officials that we will visit Mpumalanga province, and there'll be a delegation, with a mix of members of the National High Command and national officials and because there are members of the National High Command that are also deployed there, to engage with the people on the ground and unpack exactly what the next steps are, and to bring about, unity. And this also is, in effect, a demonstration that we're a party here that is in its formative stages, but that is gaining solid ground with membership, and we can't afford for situations such as this to, lead us astray from our agenda. And this is also testament that as a party with a constitution, the constitution works, and we have to follow the prescripts of the constitution, regardless of who you are. So in this case, we're following the prescripts of the constitution, working within the ambits of the party. Remember, and there's a court process and there's an ambit of the party. Here, we're working within the ambits of the party, and if we have to defend our position, we'll do so.
What is the status then, or what is the title that Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane bears today?
Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane is Advocate Busisiwe, Commander Convener of Mpumalanga Province. That's never changed ever since she was announced. We've never said any other thing. We've never communicated any other way. And she stays being the convener of Mpumalanga Province, including the provincial detachment that has been appointed and put in place to start formulating the structures within the province.
All right, Nhlamulo, thank you very much for talking to us this morning, adding some clarity and perspective from the MK Party's position on the cancellation now of the membership of Mary Phadi.